All right, welcome back. Today we're diving into a really fascinating, kind of counterintuitive idea, one that really challenges everything we think we know about getting better at our jobs. You know, we're all taught that the longer you do something, the better you get at it. It's the whole basis for seniority, promotions, the way we structure careers. But what if that core assumption is just plain wrong? So, some really groundbreaking work from researchers like Anders Ericsson has revealed a pretty shocking truth. For a lot of professionals, after you get past that initial learning curve, your performance doesn't just level off, it flatlines. It completely stagnates, no matter how many more years you put in. That connection we assume exists between time on the job and actual skill, turns out it's way, way weaker than we think. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We're talking about real-world studies. They've found that a doctor's ability to diagnose heart problems just from listening to sounds, well, it doesn't get better with more years of experience. Same thing for psychotherapists and how effective their treatments are. And get this, in some fields, skills can actually get worse once you leave the structured learning of school. This just brings up a huge question, right? If just showing up and putting in the hours isn't the key to getting better, then what is actually happening? Why do so many of us just hit a wall and stop improving? Well, it has a name. The answer is a phenomenon called the performance plateau, or what some researchers more bluntly call arrested development. Okay, so here's the heart of the problem. When you first learn a new skill, you're all in. You're thinking, you're learning, you're improving like crazy. But pretty soon, that skill just becomes automatic. I mean, think about driving a car. You don't consciously think through every little action anymore, right? You've basically shifted onto that lower path, where your skill is just good enough, and the improvement has totally stopped. So the whole thing comes down to this fork in the road. On the one side, you've got arrested development. This is the default. It's where most of us end up. Our skills go on autopilot, we get comfortable, and boom, we hit that plateau. But on the other side, you have the path of the expert. And that path requires you to actively fight against going on autopilot, to constantly push yourself just a little bit beyond what you can already do easily. So how do you get on that second path? I mean, how do you actually break through that plateau? Well, it turns out there are three essential keys to unlocking real, true expertise. The first key is the engine that actually drives you forward. It's grit. Now, as psychologist Angela Duckworth defines it, grit isn't about talent or some short burst of intensity. No, it's about stamina. It is the passion and the pure perseverance to stick with your long-term goals day after day, especially when that path gets really steep and really frustrating. And this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good concept. We've got the data to back it up. Let's take entrepreneurs, for example. First-timers, they have about an 18% success rate. But what about the entrepreneurs who fail and then persistently try again? Their success rate more than doubles. That's the power of grit, right there in the numbers. But here's the thing. Grit by itself is not enough. You need more than just a powerful engine. You need a really precise method for how you're going to get better. And this is our second key, deliberate practice. Now, this idea, which comes from Kay Anderson's work, is the absolute opposite of just mindlessly repeating something. It has four very specific conditions. First, you have to be working on a task that is just a little bit beyond your current comfort zone. Second, you have to be super motivated to actually improve. Third, you must get immediate, clear feedback on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And fourth, you need lots of chances to do it again and again, making tiny adjustments each time. You see this all the time in high-performance fields. A chess grandmaster doesn't just play random games. They study very specific board positions for hours. A concert pianist doesn't just play songs from start to finish. They isolate the hardest parts and repeat them over and over. They are all doing this kind of highly structured, deliberate practice that's designed to push their limits. And the result of all this focused work, it's not some sudden breakthrough, not at all. It's a slow, gradual, and absolutely relentless climb that takes years. Reaching that top international level of skill isn't a sprint. It's a marathon of focused, consistent effort. And yeah, this brings us to that really famous insight from Ericsson's research, the 10,000-hour rule. The key thing to understand is that it's not just about putting in 10,000 hours of anything. It's about putting in 10,000 hours of this very specific, grueling, focused kind of practice. That's the real secret. Okay, so we have the engine, which is grit, and we have the method, which is deliberate practice. The final key is the strategy that guides them both, working smart. And the difference here is absolutely crucial. See, hard work is all about quantity. It's about following the path you already know, just trying to get the job done. Smart work, on the other hand, is about quality. It's about improving the process itself. It means you're planning, you're flexible, and you're always looking for better ways to do things. The goal isn't just to get the job done, it's to improve how the job gets done. So, how do these three keys, grit, deliberate practice, and working smart, actually fit together? Because they aren't separate choices. They really form a single, incredibly powerful toolkit. Probably the best way to think about it is like this. Grit is your fuel. It's that deep down motivation that keeps you going when things get tough. Deliberate practice is your method. It's the high precision tool you use to actually build your skill. And working smart, that's your strategy. It's the map that makes sure you're using your fuel and your tools on the right things in the most efficient way possible. I mean, just think about it. Deliberate practice is incredibly demanding. It is not fun. You need a ton of grit just to stick with it. And you need a smart work strategy to even know what to practice, how to get feedback, and how to fit it all into your life without completely burning out. Each key really depends on the other two. So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. When you look at your own career, your own skills, which piece of this toolkit might be missing? Do you have the engine, the grit, but no clear method? Do you have a method, but you're lacking the map to apply it wisely? Or maybe you're just missing the fuel to even get started. Finding that missing piece, well, that's your first step off the plateau.